Kids, this is my in-between video, my post-UK, pre-Georgia video. Now, I just got back from the UK, as many people know, or particularly those that watch my videos or follow me on Facebook or know me personally. And next week, I'm going to Georgia, to Savannah, to go ghost hunting. And I'm looking forward to it. Now, having said that, if you're politically really sensitive, or like George Carlin says, if magic words bother you, shut off my video right now, because I could give you the vapors at any second. But I'm going to say something very politically incorrect, because I come from a time when we weren't so politically correct. And I don't pretend to be something I'm not. I just say shit. I don't filter it out. So, sorry if that upsets you. Shut up the video. Ready? Okay, for the rest of you, every time, pretty much every day, just to get through the day, I give myself kind of a theme. Whatever it is, it could be one word, it could be a phrase, it could be a song, it could be anything. And I normally post it, like if it's a song, particularly I'll post it on Facebook. That's kind of like what be like the theme of the day, my emotional theme or my physical theme or whatever the song does for me. And whenever I go somewhere, I have a theme. Now, when I went to the UK, the theme was very 1970s. And this is why. Now, I went with two other people. One, a very large black guy, and the second, a very large tranny. And me, totally fucking nuts. Psycho. I'm just totally psycho. So, if you remember the 1970s, there used to be all these jokes about the priest, the rabbi, and the blah, blah, blah walk into a bar. Well, we made our whole vacation about the nigger, the tranny, and the psycho walk into a hotel, pub, whatever it was. And trust me, it turned the party. It even made the most uncomfortable situations a good, full belly laugh. And it could have really been a disaster at some points had we not had this theme and we had not lightened the mood all the way before we even started the trip. And the laughs kept coming, and when we would add people, let's say like I had friends in the UK that met me in places, we would add them into this blah 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 and walk into a whatever. So they got on board too, and it was fun. It was great. Now, I'm going to Georgia next week, and I haven't figured out a good one-liner or a song yet for my trip to Georgia. Now, you know, I don't want to do something trite like Midnight Train to Georgia, because I'm not taking a midnight train to Georgia. And I've used that song for other things, and, you know, as much as I love old songs, that's just not fitting for what I want out of my trip to Georgia. So, forget that idea, but we can try anything else. Now, if you have an idea for me, but here's a spark. This is my spark. When I was in the UK, I had this couple of hours of an emotional meltdown. And I'm completely nuts. Now, let's remember I am schizophrenic and bipolar, so they call it schizoaffective disorder. And I have complications. So you can imagine, every once in a while, I do come off the trolley. And although I try to manage myself really well, I don't always succeed. Which is why I'm nuts. Because I don't always succeed. I can't always keep a handle on things. Now, this particular meltdown, for some reason, just went global, literally global, in scope. And also, it was life-changing. And it was life-changing in a couple of ways. One of them, which is really positive, which is it completely, forever, not just what happened in the UK, but what happened after I got back from the UK. and all the ramifications from that knockdown. Um, got just literally emotionally kicked one of my mental illnesses right the fuck out of me. And that was my adopted child syndrome, which has been something I have struggled with all my life. It made my parents crazy. It's made me crazy. It's been extremely expensive. It's literally cost me millions of dollars over the course of my lifetime. I am not even joking there. And I have spent my whole life worrying about other people all day long, even though they don't know about it, anticipating their needs, seeing what I can do to make them happy, what I can buy for them, what their fantasy might be, whatever. So I spent a lot of time every day doing this for a lot of people, and sometimes people most people weren't even aware I would do that for them constantly. Now I don't do that. It literally got beaten out of me. So for several days after I stopped, I felt empty and void and selfish and stressed because I wasn't stressed. I wasn't stressed all day about worrying about other people's happiness or buying a smile or something else from somebody. So I got stressed because I wasn't stressed. Now, one of the good things about being mentally ill is that 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, always it's on. And if you look at it in a positive light, it's free entertainment. That's true. It's free entertainment. But there's a tail, okay? And that tail is you're mentally ill, and it's bothersome. But in this case, my mental illness actually helped fill the void of not worrying about everybody all the time. And I got my voices, all 8 of them, to agree that we were moving on past this and would have new discussions. And after some argument and several days, they've all moved on. So my whole being has moved on. And that is wonderful. So when I'm going to Savannah, this is the first time, other than my trip to Yap, which I did not worry about anyone. That was a very special last item on my bucket list kind of trip. So I really didn't worry about what anybody thought or bringing anybody with me because I wanted to be alone. I'm going to Savannah, and normally I would be desperate to try to get somebody that I thought would enjoy going to Savannah to go with me, because I've already paid for the hotel, I've already paid for the transportation, and I literally can afford to buy another ticket to the event. It's not that expensive. But I'm not going to. And one of the nice things, or one of the things that people know that really know me know, is that when I'm alone or I'm uncomfortable around, or I'm with strangers I don't know, I am very uncomfortable and always on guard and very, very, very careful. And I tend to be quieter. I tend to take a lot less risks. I tend to do a lot less because I'm not comfortable. Now, if I'm around people I'm comfortable with, the clown show comes out like nobody's business. Truly, I mean, that is my time to act up. So if I'm comfortable around you, you get the full circus. But if I'm not comfortable around you, I'm amazingly quiet and amazingly very good at listening and observing. And if you come up to me and I don't know you and you hit me just the wrong way, you'll get that sarcastic, condescending sass that I'm most famous for, buckets full, to keep you at your distance. But I you know, it takes me a while to warm up. Now, if you touch me, then it's a whole different thing, because I can pretty much read you. Then I can tell if you're decent or not. Pretty much. So that's a nice thing. Now, now that I'm free, and I literally feel free from this mental illness, this one mental illness, the adopted child syndrome, I want to celebrate that on my trip to Georgia, my new freedom of not having to feel like I need to buy anybody a drink or dinner or entertain anybody or anything. Just go and enjoy myself, um, and don't worry about anybody that's there. So if you have a one-liner or a song or anything that you can think of, I'm having trouble coming up with one. So either put it under my video on YouTube, or if you're seeing this on Facebook, put it in the remarks section under the video, under the post. So I can, because I have a week literally, or actually 6 days. So I need to really like get this thing going. Now, what else has been going on? When I was in the UK, first of all, before I went to the UK, I went on a ghost hunt. And I had a lot of interactions with ghosts. And it was really neat because I got to talk to the owner of the inn. She verified some of the things that I was seeing and hearing, which is nice. It's always nice to get verification. But I'm always pretty much wide open. And I don't realize that sometimes. Sometimes I think I'm completely closed off, and then bam. And like, I was really worried when I went to Ocala that I was going to be able to experience anything because there would be all these strangers and all this kind of stuff, and I had no problem at all. As a matter of fact, I even got attacked while I was in Ocala, and I got my leg grabbed in 2 places, and it tried to twist, literally like twist my knee off, and throw me to the ground. It was kind of intense, but nothing fatal. I mean, I've been scratched, and I got scratched. I've never really been truly hospitalized by a ghost, and I don't expect to be. When I was in the UK, lots of spiritual activity on many different levels. Some that you would expect and some that you necessarily would not expect. But one of my friends that went with me, the training, got attacked by a ghost. And she doesn't believe in ghosts. It's not like in her paradigm. Right after we finished a ghost walk, and I had seen several ghosts and a ghost cat. Now, being crazy, being as I am, schizoaffective, I have to ask a lot of times if things are real, because I have 2 different, now some people will disagree with me and say it's all one thing, but in my mind and in my reality, it's definitely 2 things. I have paranormal visions and experiences, and then I just have your garden variety schizophrenic bullcrap, which is just mindless crap that just pops up from nowhere for no reason, with no emotion attached, and is nonsensical. So, for example, something that looks like a balloon will just suddenly appear in front of my face and float off. So whenever I'm outside or somewhere where there's like a balloon, I have to ask somebody else, is there really a balloon there? If I go into a place where there's, like, I am not expecting an animal, I have to ask, is that really an animal, or am I just seeing a ghost animal? Because I saw a ghost cat on the ghost walk that I went on in Edinburgh, walk right across the room that we were in. And it walked out from under one table, right across. It was a solid white, regular house cat. And it walked right across the room and right under another table and right between this lady's legs. And it never came out. It just vanished. There was no cat. And I asked, and there was no cat. So that's why I asked. Now on this ghost adventure I'm going on, I have no idea what to expect, but Savannah's supposed to be the most haunted place in the United States. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what I can scare up. Now, when my friend got attacked, I intentionally took the spirit from him, her, Shim, Shim, yeah, her word, not mine. I took it from Shim. It was making her so sick. I mean, literally tearing the insides out, just draining the energy, nonstop things coming out both ends uncontrollably. It was really a violent, angry, pissed off ghost. And it was just tearing them up. So I took it, and it started to tear me up. But first of all, I'm not in great physical health. And second, I'm not at all in good mental health. At all. So when you start to try to push my buttons, they don't work like normal buttons. And then you get a fun house. And this ghost got more than it expected. Now, between like my physical pains from my physical illnesses and my mental illness, I literally crazied this ghost. This ghost, I was more crazy and in pain than this ghost was pissed. So they didn't want it out of me. And so I let it go, but I said, no one else in the hotel where we're staying, go back to where you were and, play with somebody else. And it did. It went back, but not before it kind of tore me up a little bit. But it was nice to know that no matter what, I kind of have this like protection, natural protection. I guess that's why I'm nuts, because it protects me from a lot of things, actually. It protects me from people. A lot of people don't want to be around crazy folks. So that's another thing that's going on with me. Now, some good news, some really good news. I went to the eye doctors this morning. Now, for some of you, most of you, some of you may know or paid attention, I had cataracts. I had rapidly developing cataracts for a couple of years, and it was like super rapidly developing, and it went from nothing to, oh my God, I can barely see through this fog, even with glasses on. So in December, I had the smack daddy cataract surgery where they literally cut the lenses out of your natural lenses out of your eyes, and they put new lenses in. Now, Medicare only pays for like cheap lenses, and then you still have to wear glasses. But if you buy the Smack Daddy lenses, which I did, then they can correct your vision. But it takes a while because you have to train your eyes, and you have to train the muscles how to use the lens. And at first, I didn't realize that, and it was very frustrating. But today, my doctor was very happy that all my swelling was gone, which it took a while. I actually was swollen a lot longer than normal, partly because I'm diabetic and partly because I have autoimmune diseases. So my body was fighting with itself, literally. But those are gone. And I am officially, quote, this is a quote, 2020 with some effort. Meaning that my muscles in my eyes can adjust my lenses, but it takes effort sometimes, and it takes longer than a normal eye would take because it's not a normal lens. And but I've gotten to 2020, which is a huge improvement, obviously. So that's all good news. And sadly, when they cut my eyelashes to do the surgery, I've had an issue in the past with eyelashes growing into my eyes. So today, apparently, they discovered I had like 3 growing into my eyes, so they cut those out. So that's good news. All that, yay, I can see. Now, they asked me something, and this was an interesting question too. They asked me, the doctor and the nurse asked me, so how do you feel emotionally about your new eyes, your new lenses? And I said, well, first of all, I'm still quite aware that they're there all the time. So it's kind of like my diabetic feet that always hurt. I'm constantly aware that these aren't my real lenses in my eyes. They're implants. It's strange. It's kind of creepy at times, and then at other times, but I'm getting used to it. It's just taking a while. But I'm getting used to it. But I'm wondering if it's always going to be like that. And if it is, it's just like diabetic feet. You get used to it, you suffer through it, and life goes on. Now, then I thought a little bit further, and I said, I feel kind of naked and exposed now that I have these new lenses. And they looked at me kind of funny, and they said, what do you mean? I said, well, I only had glasses for a few years. I mean, it wasn't long, like 4 years at the most. I had glasses, and every year my eyes were getting worse because I had this rapidly developing cataracts. So they would change, and I would get bigger and bigger and bigger lenses so that I wouldn't have trouble looking through them. So I got these big glasses. I mean, I was literally like a mask covering my face. And I did drag when I was a teenager, pretty much, and in my young 20s also. And when you put on makeup, or you work in the theater, you do anything like a clown, whatever, you put on makeup, it's a mask. It's just like Halloween, it's a mask. And it's very empowering because it's not really you. You look back in the mirror and it's not you, it's this persona that you put on. And in my case, it was Minerva. But then it became my glasses. It became not Michael, but Michael in glasses. And so Michael in glasses could do a lot more than just Michael because Michael's totally exposed. That makes sense. So I explained this to them, and they, of course, raised their eyebrows, but it made them think. So hopefully it'll help someone else if they can warn them in advance that perhaps this is going to be one of the side effects of the surgery, which they had not really thought about, or no one was able to express before because they hadn't had a batshit crazy client before. That's all. So that's about it for now. Please, please, if you have a theme or you think of something that is celebrating my freedom from adopted child syndrome, for my trip to Georgia, one line, something funny, a song, whatever, post it. Post it on YouTube, post it on Facebook, post it somewhere, send me an email, give me a phone call, whatever. Looking forward to it. So, till next time, talk to you later.